Hello, everybody. Let's get started right away because we have a jam-packed session here on the podcast. This, of course, the Stuart Buzz. Anyway, Wendy is with me today, and she has some input regarding what we're going to talk about today is spells. The people that do know me know how I feel regarding the spells. They're like phony. That's my opinion, but we're going to get into the myths of the spells. We're going to get into the facts of the spells, beliefs of the spells, and then we're going to get the feedback from the girls, how they think of what it is versus what I think of what it is. The myth about putting spells on people is that a guaranteed instant way to control or change someone's behavior, feelings, or fate, usually through supernatural or magical means. Here's the breakdown of the myths. Number 1, spells always work instantly and perfectly. The myth, casting a spell, like a love spell or a curse spell, will instantly change someone's mind or bring them back, or even harm them. Truth is, in real magical and spiritual traditions like Wicca or Voodoo or folk magic, spells are symbolic and often work by psychology.
Oh, yes.
Not like in the movies where they turn and they spell. I'm gonna put a spell on him. So what is your consensus on spells? Have you ever had a spell put on you? Have you ever? Do you believe in them?
You know what you said about what do you call it?
No.
Trolling somebody immediately. Absolutely. If you tell somebody, I'm going to put a spell on, even if me, it would freak me out for a minute.
Would it? Okay, it wouldn't freak me out. So,
but then it all goes back to how you're going to deal with it. And then you're like, well.
I don't believe that anybody has the power to take over my mind to begin with.
No, but if somebody's saying, hexing and saying all this negative or saying, I'm going to put a spell on you, wouldn't you be like...
No, I had somebody do it.
Oh, you did?
I did. And I laughed at him.
I know. People call all the time.
No, I laughed at the dude. He was sitting in the chair, and I said, you don't have the power to do that.
Oh, he was literally in your shop going to put a spell on?
Yeah. I said, dude, you don't have the power. He was a medicine man. Wacko. Dude, if you're watching it, I'm calling you out. You're a wacko. And then he said his dead relatives were going to put a curse on me, too. Well, tell your dead relatives, thank you so much for blessing me with all the wonderful things that I have today. People are so ridiculous. Anyway, let's move on. Anyone can force others against their will. Okay, so... the myth, you can make someone fall in love with you, give you money, or suffer by saying the right words. Now, if that was the case, I would have doing spells all day, having people give me money like that. The truth is, most ethical, magical traditions teach that trying to control another person's will, especially a love spell, has karmic consequences and spiritual backlash. So you want to put a love spell on Rita, she's going to hate your ass. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And only because it's just wrong to even think that you can control somebody's mind.
So how is that different than manifesting or what do you call it? Manifesting?
Yeah, manifesting love is much different. You're not putting potions together. You're not doing this. You're putting out to the universe, which you are the universe. So you're putting it out to yourself.
Right.
That I am going to be able to accomplish this. You don't typically put it out to yourself that I am going to manifest a 6-foot blonde. You don't typically do that.
No, I guess. Well, men don't. I guess women do a lot, though. Actually, I hear it all the time.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Not 6 foot.
So number three. That's 1, 2, 3.
Is that doing number 2 and number 1 together?
I guess. At my age.
There it is.
So all spells are dark and evil. That's number 3. The myth is all spellcasting and satanic. Oh my God.
Santana?
That's right. Are harmful. The truth is, many people who practice magic use it for healing, protection, clarity, or peace. It's called white magic. It's focused on good intentions and personal development. So yesterday, or this morning, actually, I was talking to you about, I think, a voodoo high priestess.
Yes.
Who was a good voodoo high priestess, right?
Yeah, the sweetest woman you ever met in your life.
Right. And this is exactly what we're talking about. It's white magic. Black magic
goes to the intent.
Is psychological. Now, I had a guy come in here, must have been about a year ago. And the reason I remember this is because he was so into it. He showed me a video on his phone about this man walking through a bunch of flames and fire and standing in the middle of it. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. Dumbass. Who's wants to stand in a flame of fire? It was photoshopped, I'm sure. He goes, no, I was there. Like, yeah, okay. Have another mushroom, pal.
You might not have felt it that day, but you're definitely feeling it tomorrow.
Yeah, when you have all that stuff wrapped around your face because you couldn't, breathe. So number 4. Spells are like recipes. Mm-hmm. Like making brownies.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it. So that is, anyone can do them without a belief. Spells are like recipes. Oh, we have Kaylee is going to be joining us today. Kaylee, did you lock up over there?
Did you lock it? Good.
Okay, so your microphone is muted until you put your headset on.
Oop, hold on.
Yeah, it has to go around. This is always great when
Here, let me sit down. Hold on. Unplug it.
She's like, oh, I didn't know it could be unplugged like that.
Because it was like, it wouldn't go past this. Better.
Okay. Hi, Kaylee. How are you?
Teamwork makes the dream work, guys.
That's right. Welcome back home.
Yes, everybody. How's it going?
You can turn it up there. Yeah, loosen the little thing and turn it up.
Okay. Loosen. Thanks, Wendy. Hello?
She's the tall one out of the crowd. Yeah. Okay, so we're on the whole idea of spells. So if you don't know, are you done? Be done. Okay, so we're on the whole myth thing about spells.
Yeah.
And so in the beginning, I actually said the myth about putting out spells on people is that a guaranteed instant way to control someone's mind, behavior, feelings, or fate, usually supernatural or magical means. And I am giving the breakdown of the myths about spells. So we are on number 3. All spells are dark and evil. I read it, but I'm gonna say it again because you're here. Mm-hmm. Myth. All spellcasting, satanic, or harmful The truth is, many people who practice magic use it for healing, protection, clarity, peace, white magic. There's a difference between black magic and white magic. And focus on good intentions and a personal empowerment. Now, what is your, because I had asked Wendy here what she thought about the spells. What do you think about the spells?
So what I believe what spells are is really it's just our words are powerful, right? So our words manifest into the physical world, right? And we can identify with them, or we can choose to believe them, or we could choose not to believe it. So just like when people say like there's a dark entity attached to you, right? It's just an exaggeration of this person believing that there is something or some sort of dark thing attached to them because they're believing fear.
Yeah, they're feeding into
I can't tell you how many times I have somebody saying there's something that is attacking me and it's inside me and I can feel it.
You know why? I think that is because there are certain aspects of people not wanting to face fear, so they choose to believe in something external.
It's causing it.
That's causing it.
Yeah.
When really they're manifesting that within their own body. So the word fear, just in itself, can have the water in your body going completely insane, right? So that's the power of the word fear. There's like a whole water molecule test on it, which I think we talked about in a different podcast, but like that just shows you right there that like spells can be powerful, but it really what it is it's just manifestation of the word.
I agree. So number 4, spells are like recipes. Anybody can do them without belief. Myth, you can follow a spell recipe from a book or TikTok without believing in it, and it'll still work. So,
like
truth,
spells.
most traditions hold the belief, intention, and energy are key. Belief, intention, and energy are key. And you know what? Belief and intention and energy are key to anything.
Anything.
Absolutely.
So, if I tell you that there's a spell on you, and you believe
Absolutely.
that there is, you take that spell, you run with it, you create it.
Yeah. And then
So your universe, that podcast that I put out, when everybody puts something out to the universe, I said, guess what? You are the universe. You're the one that's putting it out. You're the one that's living. You're the one that's manifesting.
Right.
So it's the same thing that has to do with spells. I always tell people that you're creating the spell.
Yeah.
There's nobody that can do it to you.
That's good.
They can put the words in your head.
Yeah.
Right.
But you run with it. You have a choice to either laugh at them and say you do not have the power to do it, or you can say, oh my God, what do I do? Run to a metaphysical store and buy sage. And we have very inexpensive sage. You can come into our store.
And don't get me wrong. I feel like when people have like ill intention, like when they talk about dark magic and stuff, like when people have like, when you walk into a room and you can feel somebody having like an ill intention or like thinking something bad about you, like you can feel that, like you could feel energy. But it's up to you whether you decide to like
feed into it,
right? So the more energy that you give that, the bigger it's going to manifest in your life. And protection is really just not giving it energy. It's just
so like
okay.
Virginia.
Yeah.
She comes up in every podcast. What is that?
Yes.
So, she has her good days and she has her bad days. And sometimes you want to throw her through the window.
Yeah. But
and sometimes you feel bad and, you want to talk to her. But so the truth about this myth about you can...
Yeah. Carry on.
Okay. So the truth about this myth that you can just read a spell book or listen to it on TikTok, most traditions hold that belief, intention, and energy are key. Without them, they're just words or ritual with no power. It's got nothing, no power to behind it in any way, shape, or form. Here are some common types of spells and what they believe to do versus the reality based on the spiritual and magical traditions. But go ahead, you had something to say.
So I was going to bring up the ritual part of it, right? So but my belief on the ritual part of it, I feel, right? So people use herbs, they use fire, they use water.
We talked about that.
They use the different elements, right? Like that's like the biggest thing within like, whether it be like, which any kind of ritual, people are using the elements, right? You're inviting in the elements, which we all have the elements within us, right? So when you bring the intention and you're putting the intention into, whether that be, remember, water holds memory, fire is great for like getting rid of. So like if somebody's feeling angry, like we all have the different elements inside us. We're all made up of different elements. But what it's doing is it's actually taking the intention and it's bringing it into this reality. It's using physical things within this reality in order to kind of manifest what you want. Right? So when people talk about like burning rituals, right? And you're releasing what isn't serving you, it's really just intention. Mm-hmm. It's really just physically seeing that happen. But guess what? If you don't believe it's going to happen, it's not even going to work for you in the first place.
So everybody knows that anybody that does know me, my phrase is living the dream. No matter how bad my day may be, I am living the dream. The other thing that I put out there is I cannot get sick. Mm-hmm. It's impossible. And I live that. And I did that on one of the podcasts. You actually commented on one of them. But that the affirmations that I put out and the law of attraction that I put out is I just can't get sick. Everybody's like, knock wood. I said, I don't need to knock wood because I believe that I cannot get sick, so therefore I will not. If you believe
power of your mind.
It is such the power of the mind. The mind is such a powerful tool and such a waste of
space.
It's such a waste of a muscle, I guess you want to say.
For real. Yeah.
Because most people don't use it. Let's talk about the love spell, the purpose, the myth. Make someone fall in love with you or to come back to you.
Fall in love with me. How many times have we got that in the shop, huh?
Are you done?
How many times have we gotten that in the shop?
Yeah, we get it all the time.
I need somebody to fall in love with me.
Well,
we do get it.
Sorry, it ain't gonna happen. So I know somebody that's trying to put a love spell for since she's been coming into the shop, and ain't nobody falling in love with her right now.
Because she hasn't come across her right man.
Yeah, that's
right
it.
Person.
Yeah, that blind dude.
Maybe.
It's really about alignment when it comes to another person.
Exactly.
Make someone fall in love with you, make them come back to you, or never leave. The reality is, ethical love spells focus on attracting love in general, not controlling a specific person. Now, you don't need a spell to have people love you. You need to be Wendy. You need to be Kaylee. You need to be good people. You need to just care. Yes. And people will love you. That's just the way it is. I can't tell you how many people that come to me and say, oh my God, I love Wendy. Oh my God, I love Kaylee. They're awesome people. I said, yeah, those are my girls. I'm proud of them. And I find it so strange that I call them my girls, but that's how I feel because I feel that we're all one family. So that's kind of the way that goes. In case anybody ever hears me say that, that's what that means, by the way.
Daughters.
Let's clear that stuff up right now, okay? Do you guys have any feedback on the love spell thing, whether or not you think that works or it doesn't work? Because I have a little bit more to read on that. I can either read it or listen to what you have to say, or listen to what you have to say and then read it.
I think with every spell or anything, it all goes back to the intention. Your spells are meant, like, you're going to control that specific person. Some way, somehow, you're trying to control that person's reality, their emotions, their mind.
Now, there are people that are weak-minded.
Right.
Or needy or, can't be alone, that will pretend to fall for that spell.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll think it worked. So general not controlling a person trying to force someone's emotions is often believed to be led to unintended consequences and backfire on them.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just about to say, I think that anything that has to do with a love spell is just control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, what is the
Also
real
harming
definition? Yeah, and like, what's the real definition of unconditional love? Right? I feel like I've said it so many times.
I don't think there is.
Podcast is it's love without judgment, fear, or attachment. Right, which is like the total opposite of what like doing a lot. And the thing is if you're wanting to manifest love, you have to embody the love that you're searching for. Meaning, like, you have to love yourself fully, right? So what I usually have people do within manifesting somebody you love is like write down everything you look for in a person and then see if you match that. And the reason why is because you have to learn how to fully love all of those things in order to call anything in. That's manifestations.
That's correct. And anybody that thinks this is a perfect relationship, you're out of your mind. I was talking to a gentleman from Bangladesh earlier today, and he's going through a very difficult time right now because a girl happened to break up with him, and he's 21. It was his first girlfriend. And he told me that he just doesn't really want to live. And I'm like, okay, listen, you're not going to want to live about 4 more times. Trust me. So
Like you're going to die.
Right. Your stomach's going to hurt.
skin.
You're not going to want to eat. You can't think. You can't concentrate. Therefore,
Grief.
so, hey, the next one. First of all, many spiritual practitioners believe in manipulation in love spells brings bad karma or imbalance. Logical. It will. But let's go to number 2 because it's protection spells. Purpose of the myth. Make you totally immune to harm or curses. I am totally immune to harm or curses because that's my belief system. It's not because of the spell. It's because of what I believe. Nobody is powerful enough to hurt me. Now, I'm not talking about that I'm a powerful dude this way. Inside my head, you are not powerful enough to persuade my thoughts. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
The only one that can do that is Jeannie.
She just tells you what you're thinking.
These are more like energetic shields intended to strengthen your aura, block negativity, or increase awareness. What do you think about protection spells? Either one of you girls.
Again, I feel like it's just like belief, right? It all stems back to belief. But some people need like physical things. And I think that goes for anything really. And so, right. So different tools. So like the crystals and stuff that we have in the store, right? So including like the elements we were talking about in spells and things like that. Like all of these things are physical tools, to your own innate power. Right? So like you have the power to believe or not to believe. But some people need that physical thing, whatever that is, that physical kind of proof tool. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a tool. Yeah.
And
Just like tarot and oracle cards.
It's just a tool. I tell people all the time, I said like these cards, the bowls, the crystals, everything's are just tools to what is, like all of that. You have the power to do anything. Like you have the power to charge up a crystal in your hand. You know what I mean?
Amen.
Like it's really just about belief. Everything.
That is my thought.
Yeah.
So I have a cross that's sitting over here from Medjugorje that my mother gave me. To me, that's a tool. Mm-hmm. I have to have that on my desk.
Yeah.
I have to have one around my neck. That's my tool that I use.
Right.
Without it, I I panic and I'm like, oh my God, I lost it. But I always know that I got this guy here. So I have driven back to the house when I didn't have this.
Yeah, it's a constant reminder. You know what I mean? Like when throughout the day, like because our thoughts are powerful, so they can feel real and they can manifest in your body and make it seem like you're, like you're jumping out of your skin. So like the Bangladesh dude and like, right?
Exactly.
Like,
he is. And I feel so bad for him because he's such a good kid. You know? He really is.
Yeah.
So the example is coming up because Kaylee on one of our podcasts so conveniently pulled a black tourmaline out of her shirt. We did have that on camera, by the way. People are still talking about that. So it says literally examples: carrying black tourmaline, burning sage, or visualizing white light, often used for peace of mind as much as actual spiritual defense. I'm going to tell you, the most people that I found, if you want to categorize ethnic backgrounds, are Haitian people. They truly believe in curses and stuff like that. So when they come into the store, I tried to explain to them that it's not that way. But I have burned sage for a reason. One, I like the smell that of Palo Santo and sage. And I believe there is an American Indian custom that the smoke would grab something. What? I can't say.
It's like ancient intention.
But I will tell you, even if you personally didn't believe it, and you went to sage your home, and your child who is having nightmares believed what you were doing,
Right.
psychologically, that will work.
Right.
It's the same thing with the spell. Psychologically, if you think it's going to work, the spell will work, but it's really not a spell. It's a manifestation of what you're doing.
Of your
You're controlling it.
Yeah.
Most spell...
I think the word spell.
That's a microphone right there, by the way.
Testing. I think the word spell in and of itself
Throws people off.
Yeah, big time. I think it just always
Well, let's talk about
negative.
Let's talk about the big one. Money spells.
Money, 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 money.
You done?
Dollar, dollar bills, y'all.
Are you done?
No, I am.
Okay. So, money spells, purpose, the myth, instantly make you rich or bring cash out of nowhere. It falls out of your butt.
Bullshit.
Right. My point.
Karma.
So, most money spells are focused on opening paths to opportunities, improving luck, increasing motivation. So, hey, I had a money spell. I am going to gamble.
Ooh.
So, do they win? The spell worked. If they lost, that damn spell, that didn't work.
Let's try something else.
Most money spells are focused on paths of opportunity, improving luck, or increasing motivation. Like I said, common tools are, can anybody guess?
Citrine.
Close, but no cigar. Most are green candles, bay leaves, cinnamon, and the most of all, affirmations.
The power of your word.
That's right. I always stated, if you hang out with a bunch of billionaires, you become one. You hang out with a bunch of addicts, you become one.
Yeah. Oh.
That's just the way it is. And that's, everybody here
billionaires
knows that that's true.
Yes.
You're a product of your environment.
Absolutely.
Right? You hang out with a bunch of good people.
Frequency.
You're going to be a good person. You hang out with a bunch of degenerates. you're going to become one.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
mom always used to say, show me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are.
Right. And that's my mother didn't let me hang out with certain people because of that reason. Still requires real world action like applying for jobs or budgeting. Your thought on the money spells. Do you think that the money spell is legit or not legit? Has that worked for you, by the way?
No, money spells, no.
So you don't make any money from us?
No, no. No, what I think everything, all this,
Well, you don't do anything in the store, so I mean, I think that's a pretty good spell.
that is a good spell.
You
but
break things.
Only because I have an awesome boss.
Yeah.
But I think the spell.
Wait, I got to cut everybody off because I did a podcast with two girls. You know Chloe?
Chloe.
Remember Chloe?
Yeah.
Young Chloe?
Yeah.
So her and her friend Sky were here doing a podcast with me, and all of a sudden I went like this,
Yes.
and they knew exactly what it was. Name everything. They knew all about it.
I told you.
I'm like, how do you know about this
Wait.
thing?
Yeah.
Boss.
Yeah, it's like a new age thing,
Oh,
you
so
know?
she doesn't know.
What's it called?
Neosporin.
No. No, it's
Emma Samora, something like that.
ESMR.
ESMR.
It helps with like put an itch in people's brain, makes them feel comfortable, helps with calming people.
Yeah, and then I went like this because this is what you did. And I said, and there's even one that goes,
Oh my God.
she goes, oh my God, I hate that one.
Yeah, I actually do. People usually do hate that one.
I'm like, I'm just telling you what I was told because I know nothing about this.
Yeah,
What?
ESMR. Yeah, look it up when
Yeah.
we get off of this.
When you get
I'll show
home,
you.
talk to your fake husband about this.
Yeah, people make a lot of money. They make a lot of money doing it.
By the way, your microphone's right there. You can pull the chair up if you wish.
Well, my knees keep hitting this.
Yeah, I know you're really tall. Okay, so
What was I going to say?
wait. We have better. Number 4,
Oh, we got.
banishing or hexing
Didn't
spells.
finish the money one.
Yeah, we did actually, babe. So I was asking you, it still requires real world action like applying for jobs or budgeting.
Oh, yeah. And then he asked me a question and then we started off on a rabbit trail. He said, how has that worked for me?
Wait.
Rabbit trail. What the hell?
You know, all over.
We're seeing a lot of bunnies these days. What?
There is.
So for the money one, real quick, what I noticed that works for the money one is to believe like you already have it. Like it's already done. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
my God, you're
trust.
so right. So,
Trust, 100%.
So no joke. I said to Jeannie the other day, you know what? I'm just going to write myself a paycheck. And because, the stores have been a little slower lately, so I'm just going to write myself a paycheck knowing that it's going to be there. And
Guess what?
it was there.
Hell yeah.
Always.
It was there.
It will always be there.
And, but you have to
Believe it.
truly,
You have to trust it. You have to really trust it.
my word is with
Fear
the
will
other one
definitely-
is live it.
Yeah.
You have to live it.
Yep. And fear will definitely try and navigate you and get you all anxious and that.
And then it won't work.
And
And you
it's,
second
yeah.
guess yourself.
But guess what? That's all for nothing. All the anxiety and stuff. Yep.
It's so funny because one day I was saying to myself, oh my God, it's going to be an amazing day. It's going to be an amazing day. It's going to be a prosperous day. I'm walking the dog on Hutchison Island. I look down, there's a $20 bill.
Oh, hell yes.
So I'm one of these dudes.
Where's the trick?
Right. Somebody's going to take a little, like a fishing line and pull it away from me, So I'm looking around like, is there anybody around? So I'm going to pick this thing up and I'm going to run with it. There was nobody around. It was a $20. Who loses a $20 bill on the side of the road? Just
Probably has been flying.
I'm telling you, the craziest things can just come up when
right.
it comes to
it's like, hey, thanks, Mom.
eating it. Like, the
You
universe
know.
is kind of like, here you go. Like when you just believe that everything's going to be
Again,
okay.
we
Well, it's
are
already
the
yours.
universe. We manifest all
Yeah.
these things.
Just like I said, I had $1.62 in my account the other day. And I
yeah.
remember, and I was just like, it'll be a
Yep, it intervenes.
Yeah.
And guess what? Even like the crystals and stuff, we use those as tools, but like what about our physical bodies? Like we're literally tools ourselves. Like we're like the physical tool.
Oh, wait, what do we call that? Our bodies?
Our bodies.
Yeah, but
We're like a physical tool.
no, I know, but do you call it a meat suit?
Oh yes, this is a meat suit.
Meat.
It's a meat
So
suit.
right, so like what a manifestation is basically taking something from here and like grounding it to like this reality. And guess what? We are that and this.
If you ever watch Men in Black, I believe it's Men in Black anyway. The guy, you open up the guy, and then this little guy with controls,
Yeah.
like taking care of this really big dude. So the little guy is really inside us, controlling us, and then when our meat suit is gone, that little dude still is in control, but he's just a ball of energy.
Yeah.
So we don't really go anywhere. It's just the meat suit that does. So she is very nice to call it meat suit. I call it roadkill. One or the other, it doesn't matter. So let's go to banishing and hexing spells, because the purpose, the myth, ruin someone's life or make them disappear. I have done that. No, I'm only kidding. If you want somebody to disappear, so if there is somebody negative in your life, you don't have to tell them that you're making them disappear. Just don't communicate with them anymore. That is not a spell. It's just that they're negative people, and you want to remove yourself from negative situations. And I have done that. And it's not a spell. It's
Boundary.
We had a podcast on boundaries. And that is extremely important. The purpose and the myth: ruin someone's life, make them disappear. You can't make them disappear for real. Unless like you shoot them, or you kill them and you throw them on the side of the road somewhere, which, by the way, is illegal, and you're not allowed to do that. Just putting a little disclaimer out there.
You're not trying to say.
These are controversial and often discouraged in traditions like Wicca due to the rule of three. What is the rule of three? Oh my God. What you send out comes back threefold. What you put out comes back threefold.
Yeah.
So you want to put out love comes back threefold. You want to put out
yep, that's truth.
You want to put out pessimism comes back threefold.
Negativity,
right?
It's gonna come back.
Yeah,
threefold,
without a doubt. So when you have that cloud over your head, which is another podcast, you gotta. So just to let everybody know, if you find these podcasts entertaining or educational in any way, you can always hit the thanks button on there, or you can actually click something on there. It'll say purchase, like there's things to purchase on there. You can click it. It will be the books and items about the podcast. That is something new that just came in a couple of days ago, and that is an addition to our podcast now, that you're able to buy products onto each video, and also the ads that run on our podcast. If you click on one of those, some of them are quite interesting and some of them are very cool. I actually called one of them. I thought it was quite interesting. So these are controversial, discouraged in tradition like Wicca due to the rule. But used by some setting boundaries, cutting toxic ties, or returning negative energy.
I'll be right back.
Oh, is that a phone?
Yeah, it's me.
Are you okay?
So that to me is pretty good. We'll be right back. Okay, everybody, let's see if we can get this thing going again. used by some for setting boundaries, cutting toxic ties. People do cord cutting with selenite knives and selenite themselves. It's all how you want to do it. If you believe that's going to work, it's going to work. So, that's cool. It's all the power of the mind, kind of. So I guess they're playing tricks on you, or you're playing tricks on yourself. And the crystals, by the way. The crystals are scientifically proven.
Yeah.
So each one of the crystals, like a crystal quartz like this has moving molecules. These have vibrations, frequencies. They are also put into little watches, crystal quartz watches, and calibrated to the battery to make the most accurate timepiece in the world. Google it. It says it. It is true.
And
Anybody want to add something to that?
Yes, I do. Even if you don't believe in the power of these crystals, they're still doing their work, whether you believe it or not.
Yes, agreed. They will work.
And they're not evil.
I do. No, they're not. God made them.
Yeah,
God
literally
made
made
them.
by God.
This one's really pretty.
It's like everything on
I always
earth.
say
Like,
that
so
I-
if grass is made by God, the crystals are made by God.
Amen.
And the trees and
And the trees and
the
birds.
so
Us.
there's a rose cord sitting on Kaylee's desk over there. That's mine.
That's mine.
No, I'll
No,
be
I really think
It used to be yours.
So manifestation or intention spells. Now here we're getting into a little bit of a, I don't know,
word.
in a belief system manifestation. Manifesting things are extremely important. Intentions are extremely important. The spell thing I don't necessarily, but the purpose in the myth. Magically attract your dreams without effort. Now, mind you, there's effort to be had. You can't just manifest, just say something and a car will appear. It just doesn't work. I think you were talking about that earlier, Kaylee. So magically attract your dreams without effort. The reality is these rituals align with your mind, spirit, and energy to focus on what you want. Similar to the law of attraction.
Wait, can I speak on that really quick? Because people are probably like wondering like why I've been trying to manifest it and it's not happening. Listen,
If it doesn't align.
sometimes you have to release things that aren't serving you in order to call in what your manifestation is. Or not only that, but the universe needs time to rearrange things within your life at the given moment in order to kind of realign that. So it's going to take time for your manifestations to take place.
That is extremely factual. So the old phrase, you have to wait for one door to close for another one to open, right? If you have 5 doors that are open, which one do you walk through? So manifestation takes time, takes belief, takes
Trust,
effort.
Patience.
You have
action.
Keep on-
People.
right.
Oh, that's the biggest one.
Action.
Is when manifestation people. It's like I have to just sit here and it'll come, right? Like that's not how it works. Like there's a lot of action that needs to be taken in order for that manifestation to happen. It's you literally coming into this like timeline or place within your life that basically it's already yours, right? So well, who would you be if it was already yours?
Right. I totally agree. I mean, I'm about the law of attraction. I'm about manifestation, intention, and I believe in that, but that is not a spell.
Yeah.
That is something on a totally different plane. That is what they call a belief system that you can manifest what you want out of life. Be very careful when you do that because you can manifest bad and you can manifest good. So people have manifested bad.
All the time.
But it's what you do with that. Every single person, when I teach the law of attraction, I'm going to say, listen, don't let me steer you wrong here. You are going to be rude, mean, bad things are going to happen. You're going to be cranky. You're not always going to be happy. There's not always going to be a positive, but it's what you do with that negative.
I feel like that literally has to happen in order for it. That has to happen in order for the positive. Hold on a second. Can you just pause?
So the other thing is, if we want to go and talk about the rituals, it says these rituals align your mind, spirit, energy to focus on what you want. It's similar to the law of attraction, like I said, but often involve journaling. Check this out now, because this is part of the law of attraction. Journaling. Candles aren't part of the law of attraction, really. Crystals or moon cycles.
Tools.
Now, mind you,
Tools.
I don't typically do the whole Mercury retrograde garbage, but the moon, since we are made of 60% of water, I don't know if you know that.
Think of what the water does to the ocean.
Right. So, well, the water is the ocean.
I mean, think of what the moon does to the ocean.
There you go.
That's what I meant.
But I was listening. So
You got what I was putting down.
I did. I mean, and it is about the gravity, and that moon controls the ocean.
Yeah.
The ocean controls, like us. Water controls us.
If the moon has that big of an impact on the ocean and water, then if we're that 80% made up of water, what's that doing to our body?
Right. And so that part I agree with. It also says crystals or moon cycles meant to support, not replace, effort in real life. So that is what we feel, or at least what society feels about spells. We gave a personal take on what we believe in and what we don't believe in. But I am more of the law of attraction kind of thing.
You know, it's like religion, right? So like I feel like my belief around it is it's just there's so many similar aspects in different sorts of religions, but they all have like the same energy, just different words, right? Different characters, different words, different things like that. And that's I think how this is as well. So people think of spells and rituals and all of these things like that. Like rituals happen in every religion, things like that, right? When people think of ritual, people freak out, you know, because
but let's talk about the frankincense and myrrh.
Exactly. Or, you know, people are talking about like, you know, different spells when really it's just affirming words, right? So guess what we do in church, right? We're singing, we're speaking words, right? And guess what that's manifesting in your body? The word of Christ, right? In the Bible, like people take that and that's what you know, it's all about belief.
So it's something because
it works for different people.
When they come into my store and see frankincense and myrrh, they're like, oh, you know, but they go into the church and have frankincense and myrrh. Everything's okay.
Yeah.
So it's so
just
funny.
Be mindful when I feel like just whenever it's like when you're just be open-minded, you know.
And we were made in God's image, and He
all of
was
us
to do miraculous things.
And one thing that I can say is like one thing that I've learned about, you know, and I grew up in like Catholic church and things like that. And but one thing that I have really known to believe is like everybody's belief system is going to look different. Not one is wrong, not one is right. But like if you can trust something that is greater than yourself, no matter what that looks like that, if you could build a relationship with God or the universe or spirit, whatever you want to call it, then that's what matters, period. Like that's what matters. And that's what I've even realized in my own life and other people's life too.
People that don't know me too often. Enough of that. So is that I wasn't a big holy roller type God dude. I was more of a fan of Jesus.
Yeah. JC.
Very cool prophet, very cool healer, son of God, but so am I. So, like, metaphorically more speaking, so are you.
True.
And so I was more of that. Nobody is supposed to, no one, I didn't want to sound like I'm from New York. No one is supposed to really understand God.
Right.
So those people that portray themselves to know everything about God, you're not supposed to understand the whole thing until you decide to go on vacation full time. And that's when you learn that whole truth. But as far as Jesus is concerned, and I'm not trying to make this into a religious thing in any way, shape, or form, but you got the Jesus, and you got people that were alive that also did amazing things. You got Edgar Casey, who was the sleeping prophet, and that was his nickname. So you have lots of people that steer you along the way. All right. Wayne Dyer, he wants to teach about the law of attraction, but he wasn't always positive. At one point, I believe he had a bit of a drinking problem. And, he fixed that. But he wrote tons of books on the law of attraction through Hay House. And so there are all these people that are put on the earth to give
It's
help
like
people.
And like I think with Jesus too, he is an incredible prophet, because it's like it really brings you. We were talking about unconditional love earlier. Well, Jesus is the epitome of unconditional love. Like, we want to talk about unconditional love. Jesus is unconditional love, and I think the biggest thing is we want to be most like him. Right? So even though in our past you might have not been that way, you can still be that way today. Moving forward.
Today, I'm like in 10 minutes from now.
Not even.
I'm not even being
Right at
sarcastic.
the very moment. And guess what? The moment happens all the time. Yeah. So it's really about that, and integrity, right? So what are you doing when nobody's watching?
Yeah.
Right. Because I think the biggest thing is, like, growing up, I really struggled with, and I'm, again, not trying to bring up religion, but there's certain religions, and like the biggest thing that I didn't notice was integrity, right? So like people would go to church and do these things, but not practicing what,
practice what they preach.
Practice what they preach. And that really had me question a lot. And I think for a lot of people, it has a question for a lot of people. And guess what? Nobody is perfect. But guess what? We have these thank God we have these different prophets and people like that to really help direct us to, okay, what would God have me be if he made the perfect man? And guess what? Did you see what I posted the other day on Facebook? Right? It's like, we seek validation in a world that criticized like a perfect man, like the perfect man. And and that is so true, because I feel like in this world we're always seeking validation from every aspect. Well,
I must say,
So us to validate ourselves, we need to be.
What I said a little bit earlier, I said, listen. I said it to the Bangladesh dude. I think I said, if you're looking for a perfect relationship, forget it.
Yeah,
because there is none.
Humans will always fail you.
Right. And you know what? We're a human. Just like when I teach the law of attraction, I say, hey, guys, you're human. So you're going to think negative. It's what you do with that negativity. Right. Do you hold on to it, or do you release it?
Right.
So I can be mad at Wendy one day, but what do I do with that anger? Do I release that and say, hey, Wendy, I'm sorry? Or, talk about it? Or if I have a problem, with Kaylee, do you talk about it, or you just hold that. There's so many people that just hold that anger.
That's a really good podcast topic.
No kidding.
That is resentment
How to
and how that
release.
plays a toll on like our lives in general. Like that is probably one of the biggest blockages.
And then there's
Comfortable it is to confront somebody when you are having a problem with them.
Yeah.
but there's certain people that you can only try to release the negativity or try to make things right so many times before it's like, okay, you know what?
Accept.
You stay over there.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay over here.
Yeah.
I wish you all the best in the world, but I'm going to still stay over here.
Yeah.
Because there are some people that just don't jive with you.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, absolutely.
Just the way it is.
And that's acceptance. you
Yeah,
know?
right. And
Acceptance
you
is
have
key.
to accept that.
Yep.
What we have in the store here, in my opinion, is we respect each other. I will speak for me. We love each other, or I love these kids, and they're a part of my life. No, it's true. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do. Like if something happens, I'm
He's coming
concerned.
to our funeral.
I'm concerned. You'll be coming to mine first. Trust me. I'm much older than you guys, but it's like if you come to me with a problem, I'm gonna talk to Jeannie about the problem, and I'm gonna try to get something resolved. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. But you know, I really do appreciate you guys. I
you.
missed you terribly when you were gone.
I know.
I'm
You guys.
so much not looking forward to you going far away. But you are. So,
Oh, no.
and I am, and there are times that I want Wendy to go very far away, and she doesn't. So,
You're waiting for me to go far away?
she's a mess, I'm telling you. She's a mess.
She's a hot mess, though.
Yeah.
Mess.
Wendy is very famous for breaking crystals. So, any last words?
Nope.
That's
Love you
great.
guys.
My last words is that, it all boils down to your intention.
Yeah,
where
that's
your
it.
intention
That's what I was looking
lies.
for.
Really, it'll come out of every which way possible.
I want to say one more thing. I am not a boss to these girls. I am a coworker. We work together as a team. And if I have to do something for them or they have to do something for me, that's what you do. That to me is not a job. I'm just coming to another extension of my home. And they are part of the home. And for that, I am grateful for every one of you. And every one of the people that have been a part of our lives, like Alex, boy Alex,
Yeah.
He's
who
been
looks
on
like
a trip.
Yeah, he has.
who looks like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but he's been in the rainforest and
Oh, is that right?
Love that for
Yeah, oh yeah, so he's gone a few places. So we love him. We love Jessica. We just love all these people that have been a part of our life that made a difference in our lives, one way or another. So for that, Psychic and the Genie's Gems is so grateful for the people that have always been there. You got the Colettes of the world, I mean, it's just so many people that it's hard to mention them all. I tried doing it in one podcast and I gave up. I said, I'm probably going to get yelled at.
I'm missing somebody.
I know. You're always missing somebody.
You always miss
Yeah.
somebody.
And when I'm laying in bed like this, who'd I miss? Oh my God, I didn't say this.
Jeannie, we really love you too.
Yeah, Jeannie.
All right, get over it, guys.
She
All
doesn't
right,
watch these, does she?
say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Have
Bye,
a great day.
everybody. Lots of love.
Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.